chiamo Nicola Rabbi, lavoro nella cooperativa sociale H Parlante, assieme ad altri gruppi, la Fondazione Gualandi e l'Istituto Cavazza, che è l'associazione Giro Bussola. Siamo tutti esperti, ognuno nel suo settore, di cultura inclusiva, di cultura accessibile. Cosa vuol dire? Dare a tutte le persone che hanno dei deficit, che hanno qualche difficoltà, di poter accedere tranquillamente al nostro patrimonio culturale e artistico. Cosa abbiamo fatto in questo progetto? Abbiamo mappato alcuni luoghi rilevanti di questa zona universitaria con delle persone disabili che avevano disabilità di tipo molto differente. Tramite un dispositivo di geolocalizzazione abbiamo fissato il punto in cui eravamo e poi abbiamo scritto parte su carta e parte su cellulare delle osservazioni sull'accessibilità sia fisica che culturale del luogo. All'interno di questo progetto non è che abbiamo tolto queste barriere, che le barriere ci sono, però abbiamo dato delle indicazioni per chi si deve occupare di queste cose. Il nostro punto di forza è quello appunto di lavorare assieme come rete per poter fare in modo che tutti possano vivere pienamente il nostro patrimonio artistico-culturale, soprattutto in quest'area, area universitaria che non sempre gode di una buona fama, in realtà ha molte cose da offrire.
Good morning and welcome to the last day of ROC Final Conference. We had very fruitful discussions in the previous day with a lot of participants, keynote speakers, enjoying the different panels as well as the exhibition and the one-to-one meeting. Today, we will have the opportunity to discuss with some invited speakers the three themes under which ROC Project defined its main actions, that are accessibility, sustainability, and new collaborations. This session will be about accessibility of cultural heritage, and then at 11, we will discuss about cultural heritage and sustainability, and at 12:30 about cultural heritage and innovative partnership. So stay tuned for this very interesting morning. I also remember you that this afternoon the conference will be also online because we will have 6 open knowledge sessions that will be parallel and the closing plenary after that. At the end of the closing plenary, we will have a very nice surprise for everybody. So please be with us also for the afternoon and check the program for further information. I am Saveria Boulanger, fellow researcher at the University of Bologna. I have worked on ROC since the beginning and also I have to say since the writing of the proposal. So it is also for that I am very pleased to be here today and to chair this session with my colleague Valentina Gianfrate. Valentina is a senior researcher and professor in advanced design at the University of Bologna, and she is particularly expert of accessibility in urban areas. Welcome, Valentina. I leave the floor to you for a brief introduction to the topic.
Thank you, Saveria. Thank you very much. And good morning to everybody. Thank you to take part to our seminar on accessibility. And I would like to introduce this day starting from a reflection emergent thanks to Lia Ghilardi's speech of yesterday. She focused on 2 main questions linked to accessibility. What is culture for you? And what heritage for whom? Putting in evidence the necessity to foster cultural democracy, autonomy, and self-determination. She led me the occasion to think about the interpretation of accessibility concept elaborated and tested during ROC. Looking back, ROC Project offered the opportunity to explore, with a prototyping approach, the accessibility as a design tool, translating needs, requirements, and individual and collective arguments collected thanks to Living Lab experience into new services, products, and new uses related to cultural heritage and cultural contents. But mainly following its collaborative and sustainable approach, ROC supports a cultural shift about accessibility, assuming it as empowerment, meaning the individual and collective awareness of the right to access goods and services within one's own community. ROC investigated experimental solution, recognizing the right for all people and citizens to actively participate in the public life and the reduction of disparities, the right to accessible spaces, in the case of Lyon, the right to cultural life, for instance, in Cluj and Bologna, intended as production and fruition of culture, events and initiatives organized in the city, promoting the co-design and co-production of cultural and intercultural contents, and the active participation to cultural artistic specific and specific contents. The right to user-friendly information and communication systems, adopting an inclusive and universal communication in the project official channels, but also improving the comprehension and recognition of every different languages existing in the cities, intended as formal and informal forms, public and private ones, during events and initiatives promoted by the different ROC cities. For instance, in the old bazaar of Skopje or in the Marvila neighborhood that needs a specific channel, communication channel. These solutions, based on the design of the adaptability of places and in particular of the public places of the historic city, have positive impacts also on other sectors considered crucial for urban life, such as security, safety of city users with particular reference to the weaker groups, the usability of services, the continuity and efficiencies of routes in the role of connection between the various urban functions. The integration of accessibility concepts has been pervasive, merging creativity and protection needs with the aim to generate new values and knowledge, promoting diversity and education. So, thank you so much to be here with us today, and let's start our discussion with a video made by Marco Lombardo, the Deputy Mayor of the Municipality of Bologna.
It's a great pleasure and an honor to welcome you all for this round table that will approach the theme of accessibility. Bologna has started a participatory process which is called Bologna Beyond Barriers. We adopt an holistic and integrated approach on accessibility, and we decide the participatory process because we want not only the candidature of a municipality, but we want to take the challenge of a collective candidature of the city. This is why we engage community, association, disabled people. Of course, we live in a wonderful city with a historical and medieval area, one of the largest porticos in the world that we hope that will become an heritage of UNESCO. But the construction of our cities and our architectonic barrier cannot be a way in which we are forced not to improve accessibility of our urban area. And we are very glad that through ROC we experimented not only the participatory process, but also a way to improve accessibility departing from the historical center and expanding in all the urban area. In Bologna, we have 21,000 people with disabilities, but we have also an average of length of life that will expand the challenge of accessibility to all the people, especially to elderly people. So up to now, the problem of disability has been addressed to people with disability and their families. We have to tackle this challenge knowing that it regards everyone, disabled people and not disabled people, because everyone can experience it in the length of his life, accessibility and disability. So we depart from the accessibility of our heritage, cultural heritage and museum. We experienced an app which is called Bo for All, that will expand the idea of accessibility in the middle of the city, and we want to enlarge it, encompassing all the cities. We have to say thank you to the European Commission, thank you to ROC Experience, and we hope that this will be a very cornerstone step for the candidature of Bologna to European Access City Awards the 2021, and we hope that the participatory process of Bologna Beyond the Barrier will become an ordinary process to adopt accessibility into the political urban agenda priority. Thank you very much, and have a good work on the theme of accessibility, and I'm quite sure that we will hear your best practice and put it into practice of our ordinary administrative procedure.
Thanks to Marco Lombardo for his welcome, and now we go deep into the themes of our session with a special key speaker. He's Francesc Aragall. He's president of Design for All Foundation, and thanks Francesc to be here. And because the work of your foundation is a great inspiration for practitioners and designers, so it's a pleasure to have your contribute inside this session. Francesc Aragall develops his professional activities inside the foundation since 1990. He's the president and the general manager of ProSolution, which is based in Barcelona and Porto. As a consultant, he has integrated universal design and active mobility in more than 300 urban city plans in different countries, and contribute to several projects and legislation development for CEN and Senelec, HENOR, AFNOR, in Singapore, in Catalonia, in the Emirates, and in a lot of other countries. So I invite Francesc to join us. And thank you.
Hello, Valentina.
Very welcome to our accessibility session. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Valentina. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be invited by ROC to be the provocateur of this session, and I would try to provoke some reflections, especially for the question and answer section with my presentation that I will share now with you. Okay, the idea is to share with you some challenges that we face, and in that respect, one of the challenges is let me check how this move. Okay, because now it seems that it is blocked. Okay, now. Okay, yes. Well, one of the challenges is to know about people, their needs and expectations. I mean, people are different. They have different motivations. They have different abilities. They have also different ways of moving around. And in that respect, we should consider all these aspects of the diversity. But it is important not to have prejudices and to assume that people that share one characteristic will share many other characteristics. I mean, a blind person may be interested in cultural heritage and maybe is blind since he was born. Another blind person became blind when this person was 68 years old, and maybe the interest is cooking and not heritage at all. Then we should assume that each person are completely different, and we should to know and to understand how they move, which are their individual motivations, if they are happy with their environment, if they belong to groups, they feel like belonging to groups, and if they are labeled as group by the administrations, something that we should try to avoid. A second challenge that I would like to share with you is the challenge of increasing permeability among tribes, groups, and generations. I mean, it is very frequent that when organizing an space, organizing visits to the heritage, we organize these activities for people that tend to belong to a certain group regarding one characteristic. But on the other hand, there's a natural trend of people be with their peers, with their peers. I mean, youngsters are with youngsters, elder maybe are with elder, and we should to try to develop the social cohesion, and we should try to investigate if it is possible that adult, elder, and young and children share the spaces. How to increase, as an example, the bonds between former residents and newcomers to the district, and also to develop strategies to prevent gentrifications. I very well remember the case of Tallinn, where a youngster there told me, no, we don't go to the city center because this is fully occupied by Finnish people, and we go to other places. Then it is important to include in our projects this social mix and to prevent gentrification. The third and last challenge that I would like to share with you is the challenge of the engagement of heritage architects in modern democracy models. In many countries, it is very frequent that heritage architects, they care of the heritage, but they don't care very much about the possibility that everyone, despite different abilities, may enjoy this space. For sure, to respect the heritage is something that we should guarantee, but at the same time, we should guarantee that this heritage is enjoyed by everybody, and therefore we should be aware that to keep something historic, if it is not visible, then it is not existing for people. I would like to mention as an example the extreme case of Altamira, although it's not a city center, but is a cave with Paleolithic paintings, that if this place is used by people, it will be completely destroyed. What they did then? Well, they reproduce exactly the same cave to be visited in order to let's say, bring this place to everybody without damaging the heritage. Then, in that regard, when we talk about city centers, we should be aware that city centers should be living places. And therefore, sometimes it's very important to preserve certain stones, but there are stones like the floor stones that are not so important and maybe present difficulties for many people using high heels or using a wheelchair, etc. Therefore, I think there's a need to establishing procedures to guarantee that heritage architects preserve the historical elements of a city center, but at the same time they are aware, they understand in an empathic way the needs and expectations of citizens and visitors, because otherwise the place will not be accessible. As I used to say, sometimes joking, I say, okay, if a place you keep it without electricity and toilets, you can keep it as it was. But if you install already electricity and toilets in one place, why not to make this place also accessible for everybody? As once you have intervened in a very, let's say, important level, like introducing new ways of energy and covering toileting needs, then you can also guarantee that this place is for everybody. And finally, another thing that it is important to guarantee is to establishing procedures to ensure citizens' endorsement of the projects. I mean, it is okay when you improve a certain area, but it is also very important to guarantee that the citizens, because they like what you are doing, it responds to their needs, because it is really promoting the use of the space. They really endorse the project, and they follow the process and let's say provides you the guarantee that the project that you are developing is really understood and used by all citizens. And with this short reflection, I stop this short provocation, and I hope that in the session of questions and answers, we'll use to animate the debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francesc, for your really very interesting presentation. I think that we will have a lot to discuss based on your provocations, and I have to say that you were very well fitted in your provocateur roles. So it was really interesting to have you here. And has a briefly comments on one of the points that you touched. Also within ROC, we studied and tried to understand how we can ensure the adaptive reuse of physical places, also taking into account accessibility. So also inside our ROC project, one of your key challenges and key points were also very important for us, and we try to answer somehow and to give insight on that. So let me remember to the other participants and the audience that you can ask questions using the chat or the Q&A panel, because after the presentation of other 3 cities, we will have a question and answer session that will be inside this room. So we will not need to change the virtual room, but will be following this first part of a presentation. We will now have some inputs from 3 cities of the ROC project. First, the city of Bologna, then the city of Lyon, and finally the city of Cluj and Bologna on their perception of accessibility to cultural heritage. We will now start with the city of Bologna, and we will have first a short video on the application Bow for All, and then we will have a short inputs from Mauro Bigi on the topic of the panel. So I already introduced to you Mauro Bigi, that will appear just after the video. Mauro Bigi has been working as an environmental and social innovation consultant for 15 years on development of sustainability policies and strategies, in particular related to climate change, environmental management, local resilience, and urban regeneration through public-private partnership and participatory processes. I am very happy that you are here, but before hearing from you, let's start with the video.
We live in the information age. We can find any answer at any time, in any place, in an instant. Nevertheless, it doesn't apply to everyone. There are still certain groups of people who struggle to perform simple actions, which we usually take for granted. We believe in a technology that helps and also entertains, that is inclusive and not exclusive. We believe that artistic and cultural heritage belongs to everyone and cannot have barriers. We believe in the potential of smartphones that we are used to carrying in our pockets. We believe in a better and more accessible future. There are no more excuses. That's why we created Bow for All, the accessible audio guide app for the city of Bologna. By using Bow for All, you can look at pictures, watch sign language videos, and gain insight into every monument. You can choose from the suggested routes according to your interests and skills, and let yourself be guided whenever you are close to a point of interest or a place where suggestions are available. Bow for All was created with the utmost attention to the usability and accessibility of the user interface. The descriptions themselves are the result of careful research carried out within the ROC project, which aimed to make them as accessible, effective, and simple as possible. Bow for All is not meant to be a tool for a selected few, but to become a guide for everyone. The design for all is the right path to social inclusion. This is why Bow for All was created with a tool that made its development quick and easy. This tool, Faro Suite, aims to allow any museum, gallery, city or institution in the world to create their own accessible app. We believe in a future within everyone's reach. Bow for All, a project born to help a few, became a help for all.
Good morning. This is an example of how we try to ensure that every single person can have access to the cultural heritage in Bologna, no matter what their condition or accessibility needs are. We think that it's not just a matter of standards or protocols of accessibility, but the point is putting the person and its needs at the center of the city services, and to give to everyone the information and instruments to live an independent, complete, and also happy life. The app, Above for All, is part of a wider system developed within a ROC project made of tactical maps, multi-accessible guides, and accessible information about municipal and university museums. But this is just a starting point that we need to turn into a systemic way of planning and implementing urban policies and services. The municipality of Bologna is now working to integrate this approach in its new urban plan and also in all public works and services. Because we believe that an accessible and inclusive city is a better city for all the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauro, for your comments and also for giving us an idea that in the different cities that we are presenting in these days, we are just presenting iconic action or small actions, but in general, all the ROC actions are included into a wider framework of actions in the city. And this is also clear for the other city that we will have today. For example, now we will have a presentation from the city of Lyon, and we have the pleasure to have Thierry Marsic, who will speak about their work on lightscapes. Thierry is responsible for the urban lighting department of the city of Lyon, which comprises 74,000 streetlights and more than 350 illuminations. He managed the units in charge of lighting design, maintenance, and logistics, and his team is also very involved in the Lyon Light Festival, and he creates every year an art project for this event. So thank you, Thierry, for being here, and let's learn more about how your approach with light in the city of Lyon. Thank you.
Lyon has for a long time an outstanding relationship with light being understood as an urban issue and tool. At the end of the 1980s, Lyon has started working with this medium to enhance its cultural heritage and change the image of the city. By doing this, it has also increased its attractiveness and transformed its nocturnal landscape over the year. Lyon has engaged a broad reflection on urban lighting with the development of its first lighting plan in 1989. While before that, light was only perceived as a functional tool. Light became a tool underlining or highlighting the landscape, telling a story, transforming the nightlife, creating a specific identity and a singular lighting signature. In 2003, Lyon's second lighting plan overcame the traditional approach of lighting, considering the new challenges arising like sustainable development and giving a larger place to artistic creation, human beings and activities, and also innovation. Today, light has become an integral part of public action and landscape, urban and architectural development projects through the notion of nocturnal landscape. We had in mind to combine the preservation of light's quality with the importance of fostering creativity. This is the reason why we are currently working on a booklet of recommendation rather than a regulatory frame. This tool will serve as a reference of what could and should be done for project holders with the aim of supporting them in their projects. Within ROC project, Lyon engaged a reflection on an overall governance and regulatory framework to tackle light scattering or light cacophony and preserve the cityscapes in terms of cultural heritage. Nocturnal landscape is composed of public lighting that was conceived as a tool to enhance the city in a collective approach of project and private lighting. Light scattering arises when inconsistency is created by different layers of private and often commercial light on the carefully created light scenography. Private and commercial light has also their virtue. We need to be able to see a pharmacy opened, bars and restaurants need to attract people, etc. Cities therefore need to better understand private light and to engage a dialogue with the producer of such lights. Rather than adopting a top-down and strict regulatory approach, Lyon has worked on this question of governance in a broad way. Different tools or activities have been developed to understand the point of views of different stakeholders, inhabitants, project holders, etc. A tool has been developed with local engineering school students, allowing to analyze the different layers that constitute the nightscape. Perception of commercial lighting has been studied and analyzed with the support of urban agency, awareness raising among inhabitants with the organization of conference and urban walks with the support of Museum of History of Lyon. Understanding the different approach with regards private lighting among legacy partners, etc. These actions are still underway, but some lessons can be drawn already. A strong local partnership now exists on the topic of light with university, various city departments, cultural lighting, urban planning, Lucy network, city museums and archives, urban planning agency, etc. And this transversal working method has become a common practice as well as a strategic issue. Elected officials have become more aware of the importance of permanent lighting as a tool for enhancing heritage and making it more accessible to anyone. This converges nicely with the planned updating of the lighting plan and the work carried out at European level with Lucy. We now hope that these reflections will continue at European level and that will continue building reflection from what has been achieved in ROC.
Thank you, Thierry, for this very interesting presentation and also for explaining us how the lightscape of a city can be very relevant also to ensure the right of people to access different services, cultural heritage, and necessities that they have. Now we go for the last intervention from the city of Cluj and Bologna, and after that we will have a short reflection from Valentina Gianfrate and then the Q&A. So I remember to the audience to put their answer and their questions, in the chat panel so that we can gather them and answer later. For the city of Cluj and Bologna, we have with us Oana Buzzato, who will address an intervention on the theme of collective spaces. Oana is the Chief Service of the Citizen Information Center of the Municipality of Cluj and Bologna, in charge with the local administration's interaction with the citizens. From her position, she has been involved in most of the municipality's processes of becoming more friendly and participative for the citizens, enhancing transparency and also better understanding and updating the needs of public services. So thank you, Oana, for being here today, and let's go to Cluj-Napoca.
Hello, my name is Juana. I work in the Cluj-Napoca municipality team, and I will present to you the case of a very important physical space that we have in Cluj, the Casino Cultural Center, and its story from a ruin to a place of gathering, meeting, and offering access to co-creation and participation. Casino building is an historical place situated in the middle of the city in the big park called the Central Park, and for years and years it has been a ruin since it got deserted during the communist times. For the last 10 years, the municipality invested European money in order to refurbish and reopen it to the public. It also gave it another usage, which is a public cultural center usage. And you can see the way it looked before we started to work a little bit on it, and very usual photo of the casino today. For the last 8 years, but mostly for the last 4, we managed to observe the impact that this space got to our community in order to help all stakeholders, citizens, children, NGO sector representatives, company representatives, or other public organizations to meet, to start to talk, to start to discuss, to start to collaborate and co-create on different ways of tackling the problems in the city. And it has become right now the eat place in the center. Nobody ever comes to Cluj not to visit this place, and it, being surrounded also by a beautiful park, it is something that it's a part of our day-to-day life, but also the highlight of where we go when we want to meet, when we want to find out, when we want to make our voice heard in the community. There are also a lot of studies and research and reviews on the attendance of the place, and from TripAdvisor, who established it was the most loved, beloved and appreciated place to come to visit Cluj in terms of tourism, to this case that we display here, that shows that 64% of the respondents consider this Casino Urban Cultural Center as a most appreciated location for cultural events. The casino, we can say, it's a part of the city. A normal year would bring hundreds of events of all types. Developing different types of usage of this space has been one of the most challenging and interesting at the same time occupation of our colleagues who are managing the place. And we are very proud to be able to say that it's very suitable from musical and very classic cultural events to the most unusual and high-tech ones, because we have posted them over the years. You have a statistic on the presentation. And then pandemics came, and then everybody stayed home for a month in Romania, and the park was absolutely deserted. The sensors that we had in the project showed us the difference, and it's shocking. If you look even in the numbers, you feel the silence that was over the city. But once we figured it out, and once we realized it will last, and we have to reinvent ourselves, we started to do that. And the casino proved itself to be a very good asset to access once again, because as you can see, we managed to find ways to allow things to happen in this particular physical place, even in the new normal, which is the social distancing rules and the need of less people in a place to create and participate to event, but still not have to stop doing it. We have displayed here a map of the city with the sensors that the project offered us in order to measure a little bit the traffic, the moments, and to try to figure out what we can learn and how we can build on this outcome and data. I think it will be really useful as a follow-up of the project and on the sustainability of it. And we will also use it definitely to draft new public policies regarding the use of public space and cultural heritage assets. This is the casino a few days ago. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to spend time, even in evening or when you need some quiet time. And this is a normal day around the casino in the summertime. Thank you very much. We hope you liked our little story of this building, and we are here for any kind of details.
Well, thank you so much for all this presentation and just some reflection about it. So the experience of in these three cities show that the value of cultural heritage could represent one of the main driver of a knowledge-based economy towards different categories of users, so from residents to visitors to workers to workers group. It is very interesting, for instance, in the case of Lyon, to understand in which way the development of innovative models can impact not only on the governance, so searching new forms of governance, but generally speaking on the overall quality of public spaces. In the case of Bologna, it's very interesting understanding which way enabling technologies support the accessibility of public spaces, and this combination of this participatory approach and the technological ones, it was an asset for the city, and it realized a very, very interesting process about the access, but also the right to the public life of the city. But it's also interesting the work of Cluj, in which a public space become once again a place of identity and a meeting space in the response to a greater articulation of the urban structure and of the diversification of the hosted activities. So accessibility is therefore not simply to give access, but above all, participation. Participation in the process of identification, study, interpretation, protection, conservation, and representation of cultural heritage, as well as reflection and public debate on the opportunities and challenges that cultural heritage represents. However, it still looks like a priority to review the current policies and practices for the inclusion of people with disability in urban context, identifying and addressing the challenges that cities face to make urban development more accessible and inclusive. The integrated path promoted by ROC aim to draw attention to issues related to people with disability and to share good practices and lessons learned among cities around Europe and beyond in integrating well-being at urban scales and disability in development goals, according also to 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development regarding disability, proposing new indicators for providing data and statistics to support new policies. So thank you so much for these inspiring suggestions emerged from these cities. And now I leave the floor again to Saveria Boulanger for the question and answer session.
Thank you, Valentina, for your comments. We have now around half an hour for our question and answer session. So I invite all the speakers to turn on their camera so that we can all be shown up and we can start our discussion. So I will also briefly present you For this part of the panel, we have Francesc Aragall and Mauro Bigi. You already have seen them previously. We have then two new people, Céline Lyon. She is the ROC project coordinator for the Department of Cultural Affairs of the city of Lyon. And we have Fabio Fornasari. He is a museologist architect and the art director of Museo Tolomeo of the Cavazza Institute for Blind People. And he is the member also of the disability manager staff of the city of Bologna. So thank you all for being here with us and welcome to Céline and Fabio. I will be the moderator of this Q&A session. So I also have some questions for you. But before we start with Valentina.
Thank you, Saveria, and I want to make my first answer to Mr. Aragall because I'm very inspiring from his work during my career, not only of a practitioner but also of teacher at the university. So I'm very curious to know your idea and about your experience and understanding in which way the design of new policies, tools, and relation could improve the city accessibility experience of people and creating at the same time collective value. This is the two main topics of ROC, the collective value of cultural heritage, but also the accessibility experience. So this is a very complex question, I know, but I work with the cities and I know that you have a lot of experience, so I'm very curious about your impression.
Thank you, Valeria, for this tricky question, actually. In fact, what is clear is that the pandemic is forcing us to invent many things, new policies, new strategies, new everything. But we have also realized that on one hand, it is very good that municipalities, when adapting the environment to the new circumstances, it is good that they react very fast. On the other hand, what is not that good is that sometimes by acting fast, they forget crucial elements. And therefore, I would like, let's say, to mention for me, three key aspects. One is empathy. I mean, when developing policies, to wear the shoes of the users of the solution that you are implementing, it is important to understand how to proceed. And to wear these shoes, it is also important that you ask people, not to presume that certain people will need this and to presume that the other will need that. You should ask directly people to really understand. The second thing is clearly respect to diversity, to any type of diversity. You should not assume things like, because a person is old, this person is homosexual because homosexuality was not trendy many years ago. I mean, you should never think or presume certain uniformity among people that share one quality, because you will be always surprised. Then this respect for diversity is crucial. And also, it is crucial to avoid labeling from the administration, from our projects, to label, let's say, people and label our solutions. This part of our project will be good for the elder. This part of our project would be good for the blind. This part of, because, you should be aware that blindness is not a category, is a rainbow of people with very different characteristics among them. And therefore, you should try to avoid labeling people to create, let's say, also a rainbow of solutions to be provided to everyone. That would be my answer. But now that you have asked to me, I would like also to raise a question to somebody else. And I would like to listen from one of the cities participating in the ROC project, what kind of strategies they have developed to guarantee that professionals really understand the needs and expectations of the users. Can somebody answer this question?
Well, yeah, can I start and then Celine? Okay. Yeah, I'd just like to present you the strategy and the experience that we tested during ROC. And I think we had interesting results. The strategy is based on two key points: the direct involvement of people with disabilities and the co-designing approach that connects them with professionals, decision makers, and public technicians. For example, to develop the app Bo4All that you saw before, we organized several co-designing meetings, prototyping activities, and several tests where we put together users, including those with disabilities, experts of accessibility, and professionals. For example, we did it with tourism operators, with tourist guides, museum managers and operators. We also tried to follow the same approach with the Lightscape project for the university area, when we organized some workshops with the light designers of the project, with the public lighting facility managers, and the technicians from the municipality, involving some associations of deaf people. The needs and proposals about lighting that emerged from people that have an exceptional attention to light and to visual communication helped us and helped the technicians and the designer to improve and fine-tuning the project, working on a concept of light continuity or on a concept of use of public lighting as a way to communicate what happens inside some buildings like the municipal theater. So again, I believe that co-designing approaches and the direct involvement of people with disabilities is a winning strategy to bring citizens' needs into public policies and projects and services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauro. And maybe if also Celine would like to answer to Francesca Aragall, you can do it now.
Yes, just to mention briefly what we have done with Light on the basis of what was presented by Thierry Marsic. When we first started to work on this question of public lighting, we Sorry. Did you hear the beginning or? Okay, so I was saying that when we first started working on this question of light, we had some intuitions, but we didn't know exactly where we were going, basically, and what we wanted to do. And we really wanted to avoid having, the practitioners, the services of the municipality deciding on how it should be organized between public and private lighting. We could felt that we needed to organize somehow the articulation between public and private lighting, but we really didn't want a top-down approach. So what we have done is that we have set up some focus groups, different groups with hello, can you? Yes, sorry, I have a problem with my. So we set up different groups depending on the origins of the people, the age, do they have kids or not, just to understand what they did expect from public and also from private lighting. And this is based on what we found out from these groups that we have further elaborated our approach towards light governance.
Thank you, Céline. We have a very interesting question from the audience that is somehow linked with the discussion that we are having now. So I address this question to everyone who wants to answer. So also Francesc or Valentina or all the others, you are free to answer. Just raise your hand so that I know that you would like to answer. So the question is from Antonella that says, that it is true that citizens' endorsement is important, but the challenge is maybe also to obtain this endorsement and to make it sustainable in the time. So I don't know if you have some ideas or comments on that sentence. So Francesc, please, thank you.
Yes, well, I mentioned in my presentation the importance of this endorsement. And I think one of the elements that guarantees the sustainability of this endorsement is to be credible. I mean, it is very usual that local administrations many times ask people about their opinions, but once they have their opinions, and the people's opinions are a treasure, they keep these opinions, they develop the project, and then just deliver the project without giving any feedback. Then it is important that once you have these opinions, you continue with the process. And if you decide to take some of them and to evolve the project in a certain way that differs from their opinions, it is important to keep meeting with people to explain the reasons behind and to keep the confidence. And therefore, if you decide that the balance between the heritage and the needs of for accessibility for people should be balanced in a certain way, you should explain the reasons behind and not just to act. In this way, if people is engaged in the process along all the time, people will clearly have confidence in what you are doing, and then this endorsement can be sustained along the time.
Thank you, Francesc. I don't know if someone of the other speakers would like to add some comments on that. If not, I go to one question that I have for our invited speaker, Fabio Fornasari. So I give also the chance to him to speak and discuss with us. So welcome, Fabio. I have a question for you that is a lot linked with the current situation that we are living with the COVID-19. So my question for you is the following. How much the current situation under the COVID-19 emergency is modifying the way in which we understand accessibility? Is the concept still the same than previously, or we are experiencing deep modification of it? We cannot hear you, Fabio. I go to another question that I have, and this one is for Céline from the city of Lyon. So the question is this one. We organized this panel with the idea that accessibility can also be intended as the right for people to do or have something or experiencing something. But I was thinking that accessibility can also be intended somehow as the right for the entire society to have a cleaner world, or the right to come back to more natural ways of living against the actual consumerist societies, or the right to turn off lights, for example. What do you think about that?
Well, it's actually a very interesting question because, of course, energy saving is something very important for the city of Lyon, also because we want to meet Paris objectives. But it's true that when we started working on the booklet of recommendation on private lighting, we were, in a sense, more concentrating on the question of quality of the nightscape, having in mind that the dialogue between public and private lighting needed to be organized. And during the focus groups I was mentioning earlier, we have organized. The focus group we have organized on the perception of commercial lighting. What came out very strongly from all the groups was the will for less or even for no commercial lighting. And this question of sobriety is, of course, now fully integrated as much as the question of quality in our booklets of recommendations. If you allow me, I also would like to mention that these questionings on city nightscape around the quality, energy savings, governance, etc., everything are part. All these subjects are part of the publication that we just finalized actually yesterday evening. So it's all fresh. Publication that we made within ROC project with our partner Lucy, and it's all about this question of city nightscape, where you will find 12 cities explaining their conceptions of city nightscape. So I will provide you with a link where you can download this publication that we just finalized yesterday.
Yes, now it's okay.
Thank you, Céline. Okay. And I see that Fabio is now able, I think, to answer our question. So, Fabio, I come back to the question for you. So the idea was that to understand if the current COVID emergency has changed the way in which we understand the accessibility themes.
Okay. COVID emergency has allowed us to know our weaker side. This day, we realized how much our safety depends on the behavior of others. We discovered our opportunities for autonomy, our fragile capacity are linked to the autonomy of others. The behavior of others can change our lives always, but never like now in COVID emergency. And this has to do with accessibility. There is no accessibility if there is no responsible community. The community must be open, ready to welcome other people. The community needs to be able to understand the needs of others, recognize the needs of others, and adapt their behavior to make others feel good. I don't know if it's clear for you, but our weakest side is not our body. The weakest side is our selfishness, our closure towards the other. COVID has made us all more selfish. He closed us to the other because he is the vehicle of disease. Inclusion is the goal of accessibility. In this period, it's leaving more room for exclusion. I don't think that technology can replace the community of listening people. Not everyone can access digital technologies in the same way. This is because many have shortcomings, fragility, sensitivity that does not allow them to use technology. The second question, I respond that the concept of accessibility hasn't changed. It's always the same. The ability to recognize the processes of exclusion has changed. The exclusion processes hasn't changed. They have increased and are more difficult to recognize. The mask is an impassable barrier. It excludes smells and exudes a full understanding of the words spoken. Often, he does not understand us because we do not listen well. not being able to touch between people and not being able to touch things exclude those who need the other. For the blind, it's an alienating condition. For the blind, tactility has always been communication, not contamination. The relationship between us and the world is profoundly changing. We are working on this. We are researching on this topic on the accessibility. We are looking for new strategies for inclusion, but we also design new materials that are repellent of various charges. The tactile marks for the municipality of Bologna are treated with this patent. By digital, by experience in real world, and with virtual experience, accessibility is an ecosystem. Well.
Thank you, Fabio, for your answer. I ask if someone of the other speaker would like to comment on that. If not, I go to another question that is more than a question, is more like a sentence that we had from the audience, but maybe it is interesting to address it or to comment on that. So maybe, I don't know if Valentina or Mauro or someone else want to answer. The question is from Luigi Perisic. That is more a comment, and it says, Before all is an excellent initiative that should become part of a solutions ecosystem where all such apps should be readily available to all users, also promoting a positive dynamic between cities to join in and continuously develop innovative tools for accessibility and fruition of cultural heritage. So I don't know if maybe Valentina would like to answer. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Luigi, for this question. Yes, we assumed the apps or other digital devices as enabling technologies. They are part of a process of investigation, but also of design of a new practice around accessibility. So this engagement of all the actors is promoted through different initiatives that start with a strong engagement of people, the inclusion of association that could act as experts. So I can express my my satisfaction about the adoption of some initiatives of citizen science that we tested during ROC, in which the citizens act as expert and suggest to designers, but also to the municipality, how to move in these fields of big field of investigation, but also of action. So I think that the tools are a part of this process, and but one of the key aspects is this prototyping approach that connects not only the tools but also the real effect of these tools on the people in their enabling role.
Thank you, Valentina. And also somehow linked with that, or in general linked with what it is ongoing in the city of Bologna, I wanted to ask something to Mauro. Because the deputy mayor Marco Lombardo also said at the beginning that the city applied for the Access City Award. So my question for you is about that. So considering this application and considering the governance issues, what are, in your opinion, the strengths and peculiarities of Bologna's candidature?
Yes, Saveria, thank you for this question, because we are very proud of this candidature. I think that Bologna's main characteristic is the incredibly wide network of associations and communities, and in general, its bottom-up activism. This candidature was co-developed with the direct and active support of all the city. The municipality, of course, was the coordinator of the process with the university and other public institutions, but so many foundations and associations that represents people with disabilities needs, and many other associations and trade unions, cooperatives, social businesses, and many other businesses and communities, and also informal groups of citizens supported the candidature. During the pandemic lockdown, the first, during spring, we made an open call to the city to support the candidacy, and incredibly, we received response from something like 70 different organizations that proposed a total of 108 projects that they were undertaking supporting the candidature. We organized also a cycle of live stream meetings and digital workshops to discover the new needs of people with disabilities and to collect and discuss new ideas and proposals to make Bologna more accessible. Thanks to all this participated process, the municipality selected 34 projects to be implemented in the next few years in 4 main different fields: work inclusion, transports, public spaces and built environment, and public services. I think that this incredible mobilization makes Bologna's candidature strong and solid, and it's an expression of how we are motivated to bring citizens' need into every city aspect, every city life aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauro. And I hope that the city of Bologna will win this award, of course. So I think that we have almost finished our time. I just would like to say few things for closing this session. So my colleague Martina Massari remembered me a very interesting thing that a new volume of the Rock journal, CPCL, which is a European Journal of Creative Practices in Cities and Landscape, will be dedicated exactly on this topic of accessibility. And the issue will be out in 2021 with the title Design for People's Autonomy, Rights to Independent Living. It will be edited by some of our guest speakers today, so by Valentina Gianfrate, Francesc Aragall, and Michaela Antonucci. And all the volumes of this series are open access, so when they will come out, they will be free, and you will be able to read them. And if some researcher or people working in this field would like to send contribution for this number or other numbers of the journal, we are always very happy to receive papers. I also saw that Céline put the Nightscape booklet in the chat, the link. So thank you very much also to Céline. And I would like to thank you all for this very fruitful discussion that we have just had. I think that the concept of accessibility and making our cities more accessible in a broader sense is really important every time, but also now that we are in a very specific and particular condition. So thank you a lot for your insights and comments. I remember to hold the audience that following this session, there will be a session on cultural heritage and sustainability at 11. This session will be moderated by Mafalda Nunes from the University of Lisbon. So please stay with us also the rest of the morning for other very interesting discussions. And I also remember that the conference will not finish for lunch, but we will also have some session in the afternoon. In particular, we will have 6 open knowledge parallel sessions and the final closing plenary, where we will also have a very nice surprise from the Bologna City Theatre. So stay tuned and stay with us also for the afternoon. And yes, at 11, next session, you will have to join the next virtual room. So thank you to all, and goodbye, and have a nice conference.